Christine from Hollis Hands Create. Welcome to my channel. Today is January 1st. Happy New Year Day 2022. Let's hope that it's a fantastic year for everyone. As we continue to move through all of the turmoil that we've had in the last 2 years, I'm just wishing for everyone to have peace and happiness and good health. So today I wanted to pop on, tell you that, and just give you a quick little update. It's been a couple of weeks. I was on last on Sunday, December 19th. This is episode 35. This is my channel about cross stitch and some other crafty endeavors that I may be into. Today we're going to talk primarily about cross stitch. So I hope you'll grab your stitching, grab something nice and warm to drink if it's cold where you are, or something nice and cool to drink if it's not. All right. Did everybody have a fantastic Christmas celebration? We did. We had a very good, it was quiet. My middle daughter, Savannah, did get to fly home. I was very excited about that. And since their games were canceled, she actually got to fly home a day early. So instead of coming in on Christmas Eve, she got to come in on the 23rd. That was extremely exciting. And of course, she didn't want to tell me. So she had her brother tell me that he was going to get a haircut, and then he went to pick her up at the airport. So she did make the mistake, though, of calling maybe a few minutes before they got to the house. And I said to her, it was funny, I had just a strange feeling. I said, "Are you at the airport?" And when she got to the house, she goes, "Why do you always do that?" It's like, I don't know. It's a mom's sixth sense, right? Where our children are. But anyway, she did come. I've got some funny video that if I can get one edited, I might insert. I'm not going to promise that. Of a little Alaska figuring out the idea of opening her gifts. At first she was kind of like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what to do, so we had done a lot of her things in tissue bags, so that she could easily pull it out. Once she all of a sudden realized there were things inside those bags for her, then it was like off to the races. So it was really fun. And I think we all just about sat there with our gifts in our laps and watched her for quite some time. But it's the joy of Christmas, right? So my little Christmas rose, Alaska. So we had a great day. I hope everyone else did. I will just show you my son, Adam, who, if you've been following me on my channel, you're aware that I have a cross stitch shop, an Etsy shop of the same name as my channel, Hollis Hands Create. And my son Adam moved back in with me in May of this year, and he's been helping me on a part-time basis, a couple hours a day, running shipping labels and going to the post office and doing some things like that I need him to do. Well, he's become very aware more of my hobby and my love of this cross stitch world and my business and things like that. And he heard me kind of looking at some things on Instagram and being like, "Oh, I just love these." And he's like, I remember him asking me the day, what are you looking at? And so I told him, I said, a lot of husbands get into the act with their wives as well as part of this hobby. And I showed him this from Carolina Stitcher, Kathy Firth, and her husband Pete, and it's just beautiful, this bee skep. And so I told him, I said, you just got to be lickety-split quick though to be able to get one on a Sunday. And this is how since a bee skep, I happen to have a really sweet scissor fob with bees on it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here you can kind of see. These are from my Big Toe Designs. And so he was at one of his friends' college graduation, and he said, I was sitting there in the middle of the graduation and I'm messaging back and forth with this lady during this the ceremony. He goes, trying to get this thing, and I messaged Kathy after I'd opened this up, and she said, "You have a very thoughtful son." And I was like, oh. So he got this for me, and I'm just beyond excited to have that. And just the fact that he would pay attention enough to do that, I was really happy. And then my husband hit the jackpot. You know how I collect tomatoes. and he hit the jackpot of tomatoes. There's a whole bunch. They're all kind of propped in here, but there's about 15. And I'll pull just a couple out to kind of show you that were some different ones I thought were kind of cool. I love this little basket. And I have tons and tons of baskets, mostly Longaberger. So this one kind of worked out really well for me. This was in there, which I thought was really cute. It says small cube contains 100 best steel toilet pins. Glass heads, first quality, made in Germany. Isn't that really cool? With a lot of these pins still in here. So that's an oldie. I really love that. This one was a really neat one. It's an old one as well. Happens to have the tape measure that comes out of the middle of the tomato, which is really cool. Then there was an actual tomato. Now I'm not going to pull on this thing because it's really stiff, but this is the tomato tape measure. It's got the little button is really stiff in there, and I don't want to break it. So, and there were some itsy bitty tiny ones. This one's actually about 1.25 inches wide. It's a little bitty tiny one. Then there's a great big fat velvet one. And as you can see, these are all, you know, well used. Now there were 3 or 4 that are just the regular, you know, tomatoes in here. There's a green tomato. Does everybody like their fried green tomatoes? So that's just a few of the really interesting ones. There were a couple of strawberries. They're just, anyway, he got this whole bag from this guy at a flea market for $10. So he brought that back to me. It wasn't really necessarily a Christmas gift, but he did bring it back with him from Rhode Island at Christmas. So I thought I'd share those. Let's see. I had a question from the last video. Behind me up here, you can see where I'm starting to add in, as I'm pulling out different stitches for the seasons, instead of putting them all back away, I'm starting to actually add them to the top of my room. And one of them that I had up there was Dreaming of Tulips. This is from Rosewood Manor. And this was my interpretation of Dreaming of Tulips. You can see that. Now, the chart actually calls for all of the tulips to be done in this red color. And I think it's baked apple. I stitched this a few years ago. I'm trying to keep that glare from on there. So I can't remember just exactly what that was, but I believe it's baked apple from Weeks. And what I did, because that's one thing I love growing are tulips, is I just went to, I didn't have my shop then, so I went back to my LNS at the time, and I just went to the thread wall, and I just started picking out colors of tulips that I absolutely love. And I just did my own. So there it is, Dreaming of Tulips from Rosewood Manor. I hope you can see that. Really beautiful. So I'll put that back up. And thank you to that viewer who asked about that. Okay. This is not going to be a long video, y'all. It's New Year's Day. We are doing our traditional, ham and beans. And I'll make some cornbread up and things a little bit later. So, but I wanted to pop down what's kind of quiet right now and get this in. So let me move on to the next thing. Okay, I'm going to do another giveaway, not related necessarily to my Just Saying segments that I'll come back with in January, but because I've been doing all of my planning, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, what my January planning was, I thought, I'm going to give away another 2022 Book of Days, just in case you didn't get yours. But I'm not going to give it away through my Flosstube. I'm going to give it away on my Hollis Hands Create Instagram. So if you can go over to my Instagram, be a follower, leave me a comment with the word planner, and in just a few minutes I'm going to put a post up and you'll respond to this post, okay, for this planner. And I'm going to draw on Friday, January 7th. Okay, so in case you didn't get one, here's your chance to get another one. And again, you're going to go to my Hollis Hands Create Instagram profile. You're going to be a follower. You're going to leave me a comment to this post, the post with this picture of this planner, and make sure you use the word planner in your comment. And I'll draw on Friday, January 7th. And good luck. I hope that if you didn't get a chance to get one, maybe you'll win this one. Okay. So let's get to what I've been working on and my quick little mini decision parade. Okay. So I wanted to show y'all, last time I showed you my finish of Christmas Rose, and I hadn't finished FFO'd it. So I wanted to show you the frame that I was able to pick up, and I got it framed. It's kind of like a wood, kind of a rustic type wood type frame. And I took the glass out because I didn't want the glass, and I basically pinned and laced, and there you are. And I'm just extremely happy with how it turned out. So now that I've shown it to you, it's going to go up on the wall. This was my Christmas rose from Blackbird Designs, stitched on 40 count Wren by Picture This Plus. All right, so happy with that. And then, if you'll recall, I was going to start from Blackbird Designs, Loose Feathers number 17, Evergreen, on Christmas Day. And I'm so excited. Let me get something here to show you that I actually finished it. I didn't think I would. You remember I figured I would just get a start on it and then add it back in as my January WIP with my new start, and I just cranked right through it and got it finished. Once I got started, I just loved it so much that I just kept going. Now, these are my own colors that I picked. I used Gentle Arts Walnut for the basket, and a couple of the stars that called, I believe they called for Palomino. Yes, Weeks Palomino. And then they called for Gentle Art Pomegranate, and I used a Victorian Motto Antique Rose. And then they called for Havana for everything else, and I used Weathered Pine by Color and Cotton. So very, very happy with how this turned out. And I'm stitched it on 46 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm just thrilled. It came out really small, which I'm completely fine with. I'm going to look for a small frame because it's only now about, I think it's like 5 1/8 by 4 1/2, or 4 1/2 by 5 1/8. And so it's going to be just a sweet little small framed finish. Anyway, so that left me a couple of days to really kind of contemplate what I wanted to pull out. And I knew I was going to have my start on Our Lasting Friendship this month. And I'll show you that one again in case you didn't see it before. I'm going to show you the back because it's a better picture, larger picture. This is Our Lasting Friendship by Blackbird Designs. And it says, "May this be the token of our true lasting friendship." And then each person who's stitching can put their initials in one of these little cartouches. So I'm looking forward to that, stitching that with my ladies from the Quilter Station Stitch Club here. And I did finally get my fabric picked out. I'll show you that. I'm going to be stitching mine on my 40 count sand dune, which is one of the fabrics that I actually featured on my last Flosstube. And the more I looked at it, the more I loved it. So this is what I'm going to do mine on. Let me get my threads to, my threads never look very pretty. Anyway, so here are my threads that I'm going to be picking from to use for this. I'm probably going to make a few little changes. I think I'm going to use a little cayenne maybe and brighten up the berry bowls just a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But so that's my January new start. And I needed to come up with my WIPs that I'm going to pull from. If you'll remember, I had made my WIP list right down the middle of my planning sheet, and everything that has a little X by it, I pulled for consideration. So I'm going to show you this. It's going to be just a little little mini WIP parade, and these are what I pulled out for consideration to stitch in January as my WIPs. Now, a little bit I'm thinking, should I look for something that's almost finished and finish it up? Should I just look for something that really inspires me and I haven't touched it in a while? I don't know. As I was going through those, I just kind of was like, oh, let's see what hits me. The first thing that I had pulled out, and I did kind of pull everything that was like winter, Christmassy type theme. So I did pull out Tingey, however you say her name, which I just showed you what my progress was on that 2 weeks ago. I have not stitched on it anymore, so you're not going to see any more progress, but for sake of the little WIP parade, I thought I would show you. And this is where I am. And I did not iron all these. Sorry about that. So that's where I am on Tingey. And I'm going to kind of take a minute to kind of put these things back in the order, because otherwise I'll have a real mess here. Okay, so that one, Hannah, was started November 26th of 2020. So a year ago Thanksgiving. That was my Thanksgiving Day start with Christy from Crosshatch Quilts and several others. November 11th of 2020, I started this one, Brr Its Cold, from Brenda Gervais with Fine Needle and Thread. And this is kind of a bit of a match to her Bobbing for Pumpkins, where it's got the two witches and the little thing of pumpkins there. And so this is with the snowman. And let me grab my board. And this is where I am on Brr Its Cold. So as you can see, I've got quite a bit done. I just need to fill in the snowman, and I think that's probably what stopped me, was all that white stitching. I'm not a huge fan of white stitching, but anyway, so here I am with that. I could get a finish on this month if I work on this one. I may be talking myself into that. Okay. Now, what I was stitching right before I started Evergreen, which I've shown you, is this Joyous Season, Paulette's new release from Plum Street Samplers. And here's my progress before I stop to start on Evergreen. Isn't that beautiful? Love this big house. I think I'm definitely going to have to add this one back in for some stitching in January. Now here's an oldie. Let's see. This is Let It Snow by Stoney Creek. It's a bell pull or a banner. And I started this one January 2nd of 2016, I'm embarrassed to say. And I have it on this little scroll. And I have not unscrolled this, I don't know, maybe even since I put it on here. So I'm going to actually unscroll it and show it to you. I'll have to get back so you can see. Okay, I'll start from the top there so you can kind of see the Let It Snow. All right. And I'm stitching this on, I believe it's a Lugana. I didn't make great notes when I started stitching. Yes, it's on white, 28 count white chocolate. So the only thing I have left to do on this one is the bottom. This bottom vignette or motif. So I'm all the way through to here and just have to finish that. It probably should be on the list. I'd say that 2016, it's been long enough, right? Okay. My next one, which is also a little bit of an oldie, is The Old Winter from the Primitive Hare. And I've seen this model at market in Isabella's room, and it is just so impressive. It really is beautiful. He's so dignified. And I think what hangs me up on this guy is I am stitching it on Izzy's printed white flakes, or snowflakes linen. And I think what holds me up is it's a 30 count. So it's a fairly loose, you know, weave, and I'm just not a fan of that. And that means I'm stitching with 2 strands, and I'm not a fan of that. But I just can't quite let this go because he is beautiful. Look at that face. So that's The Old Winter. I need to finish it. It'll be beautiful, all framed. And that one, I think I told you, was started 12/22/18. So that's been a while in the works as well. Then I have another oldie. My one and only Mirabilia. And this is Miss Christmas Eve. Isn't she beautiful? And she was started, holy mackerel, she was started in February of 2017. And as I recall, I think I literally for like 2 months did nothing but stitch on her. And then, I don't know, something happened and I got sidetracked, and where I should have probably been finishing her, instead I stopped. And here she is. And I know that this is it's an opalescent. You can kind of see that sparkle in there. It's a fabric from Hand Dyed by Steph, but I can't for the life of me remember. I think it's like something nature. I believe it has something with nature in the name. But there's Miss Christmas Eve. She's so pretty. She's been a long-standing WIP. And then my last one, and this one I've been toying with giving up, I don't know, and starting it over on a smaller count. This one is Lantern Lane, Little House Needleworks, and it is so pretty. I'll put that up a little closer. Lantern Lane. And I'm stitching it on 32 count and just not loving it at all. But I do love the design. So I don't know. It may just have to, it may have to go another direction. And maybe at some point I'll restart it. But I did pull it out because I either need to do something with it or, you know, give it away, restart it. I don't know what I need to do with it, but I've got to get it out of the WIP box and make a decision about it. So that one was started, that was a Mania 2019 start, 2.5 years. Okay, so Hannah Tingey, Brr Its Cold, This Joyous Season, Let It Snow, The Old Winter, Lantern Lane, and Miss Christmas Eve. There's my little mini January WIP parade. And I'll tell you what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards finishing up Brr Its Cold, finishing up Let It Snow, and see what I can do about getting This Joyous Season finished. What do you think? Y'all think that sounds good? Because I know I'm not going to be able to get Hannah Tingey finished in January. And I'm still so on the fence about Lantern Lane. Miss Christmas Eve, I could get a lot of the stitching finished, but then I have all the beading to do as well. So I don't know. But I'm leaning towards Brr Its Cold, This Joyous Season, and Let It Snow. That would get a really current WIP that just got started, potentially finished. One that is now a little over a year, so kind of a medium, and then a really old one with Let It Snow off the books. And open up some spaces, and I could potentially get 3 WIPs actually finished and off my WIP list. I would be oh so thrilled. So that's what I'm looking at. Let me know your thoughts. What you think? Do you have something that you vote for? I think that's it. It's 28 minutes. I told you this was going to be a short one. Be sure to head over to my Instagram for Hollis Hands Create. Be a follower. Leave that comment if you're indeed still wanting your own planner. I am going to make my decision and start stitching, and then I will fill in my January notes over here and start working on my blocks. Got a few stickers to add. Though I'm not a big, huge sticker person, I do add in some things now and again. I think it's funny that I had as a post-it finish Evergreen, and yay, I get to throw that post-it away because Evergreen's already finished. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's cold and icky out here. We were in the 60s and 70s last week, set a high record. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, we smoked a prime rib. And Christmas Day, we had our ham. We had the doors open, the windows open, because it was beautiful. It's like upper 60s, low 70s. And today, I think our high is like 7. And it's been kind of a sleeting snow shower day, all day so far. Started sometime in the middle of the night. And it's kind of icky. So it's a good day to stay in, do some stitching, do some planning, and watch some Flosstube, and enjoy 2022. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.